Hello and welcome in, you guys, to another One Piece post-game video. This time, we're here to read through the comment section of chapter 1176. But before we do that, gotta say, have you guys seen the One Piece popularity poll that is going around online? Yes, that is right. This is the second worldwide official popularity poll that One Piece has held. And week one results are actually out. Surprise, surprise, Luffy across the board is pretty much in first place in every single country, except for Japan, where Zoro actually took the first spot. So yeah, generally the top three are Luffy, Zoro, Sanji in some order. Some places have Zoro above Sanji, some places have Sanji above Zoro, but that is the gist of it. And as far as fourth and fifth place, typically that goes to Nami, Robin, Law, Ace, and also Roxy Zebek. That is right. Rox made a couple of appearances in the top 5 across the board, and that's pretty cool to see. And while these popularity polls don't really mean too much and they're just for fun, there have been times where Oda has said that a character's popularity has actually influenced the story. A key example, and one that always breaks my heart, is Eustace, Captain Kidd, and Trafalgar Law. Oda said that, the focus that Law got post-time skip, that initially was going to go to Kidd, but once he realized that Law was so popular, he pivoted the story and gave Law all the focus. Imagine an alternate dimension where Kidd won the popularity polls in the past. Oh, we would have been living in a good timeline. Hell, dude, Shanks versus Kidd might have gone very differently if Kidd had the love of the fan base behind him all those years ago. What could have been, brother? What could have been? On to the comment section. Top comment. It is actually glazing me, so this is a little bit embarrassing. Not a glaze, but Sai's become one of my top 3 One Piece creators. I like how he enjoys the story, and he'll also let things cook instead of overreacting to something he may not like. Also, doesn't let agenda ruin his enjoyment of the series. That's become too rampant. Okay, hear me out. I'm not agendaless. Do not mistake me for that. I do have agendas, right? Barbell, Ange, God Knights. I'm a Rob Lucci fan. I have my agendas, but I also know that they're probably never gonna win, right? At the end of the day, this is a story that revolves around Luffy. This is a typical shonen. So my people, my guys, they've been set up to lose since day one. And I acknowledge it, that's just kind of how it is. Are there things I don't like about the story? 100%. There's a lot of things about One Piece that I would change personally, but that's just kind of how it is. I feel like that's true for a lot of media, right? A lot of people have ways that they'd want the story to go, but you kind of have to acknowledge that not everything's going to pan out that way, and that's totally fine. I treat One Piece like my favorite sports team. I root for it. I always follow my sports team, but sometimes they lose. And what do? Do we bitch and moan? Not exactly. I just kind of roll with it, right? You'll get him next time, Tiger. That's what I say. But I appreciate the kind compliment, man. Thank you so much. Next comment now that we're done glazing. Bonnie, sitting on top of Franky's helmet is just too wholesome of a panel. It is. I loved it, dude. I found it absolutely adorable. And I am excited to see what Bonnie does in the future of this arc, because Bonnie is also very strong. That's one thing we have to remember, right? Yes, Bonnie's cute and adorable, little kid just hanging around their favorite pirate crew, if we want to call them that right now, because they have Sun God Nika. But it's like Bonnie's also a fighter, right? Bonnie is also a pirate captain herself. So who's to say that next chapter Bonnie doesn't fight Killingham or, land a Nika punch on him? Or maybe she acts like a true blue kid and she falls asleep and creates a nightmare monster, kind of like what happened to the rest of the kids here on Elbaph. So I'm just kind of curious, would you guys rather have Bonnie be a bystander this arc and just kind of chill in the background? Or would you rather have her be a prominent fighter? Let me know down below. This says, Usopp's observation Haki allowed him to see Luffy on top of Loki while no one else did. Is that true? Let me see real quick. I do remember somebody mentioning Luffy and Loki. Was it Usopp though? Okay, yeah, I see it right here. It's on the second page. Usopp is the one who mentions that Luffy is on Loki's back. Could this be observation Haki? Maybe. But then again, we have to remember that Luffy is in his gigantic form. It's still small compared to Loki, but he should be visible, especially if Loki is a pitch black dragon. I think I would also notice a glowing white fire guy, my captain, on its head. So that one is left up to the courts. I think there's nothing wrong with thinking that it is observation Haki, but it's just one of those feats that Usopp has only used once in the entire series. I hope Usopp does get more observational feats. I feel like it fits his character really well, especially if it's catered towards him specifically. Kind of like what we saw during Film Red, where Usopp and Yasopp had this weird observation Haki moment where they saw things through each other's eyes. I hope that does make a canon appearance soon, but we'll see. I just really hope Usopp gets more than one panel next chapter, man. So, next comment says, that kick to Killingham felt so good. Hell yeah, Sanji. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I do hope that the fight isn't over. I think that's my one thing. The kick is good. I hope it's not a one-hit KO, though. And I've seen people saying that too, like, oh, Killingham's knocked out, he's done, he's out of here. It's like, okay, there's no way, right? Like, there's no way. I get it, man. These guys are regen merchants, but that's the thing, they regenerate. Surely Killingham versus Sanji is just getting started, and I think this is just simply a good opener. Next up, Franky. Being on par with the Pacifista means that he could take out the entire pre-time skip Straw Hats, including all the villains they beat. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, right? I mean, you could say that about a lot of things. Like, Nami could probably one-shot Arlong nowadays. Ooh, Zeus Powerup could probably one-shot Rob Bellucci at Enies Lobby. That's kind of how it is, right? The power scaling to One Piece got crazy post-time skip. Like, Luffy came back and he one-shot a Pacifista. That right there, that one punch, yes, it would also probably destroy most of the pre-time skip villains in a single hit. And that's just it, man. You know, that is shonen power scaling for you. Sanji got Killingham looking like Charlos here. You are right. I didn't even put that together, but yes, Killingham, just like Charlos, is getting his head caved in. He's being squashed. He's being flattened. And another character that I think gets overlooked when it comes to being squashed is Luffy. Because I think Kaido did the exact same thing and Luffy just like bounced back. Yeah, there's something about this final saga and Oda squishing characters up. What's up with that? This brother really said leaky cock with a straight face. It had recurring. Okay, hear me out. Cock is a genuine phrase. It's color of conquerors. Cock for short. You know, there's nothing wrong with saying that Zoro had a leaky cock. It is canon. And I will admit, it does sound really bad out of context. It does. But let's all be adults here, guys. Leaky cocks are normal. Usopp fan here, dying of laughter and potential slander from him literally having one panel. See, that's what it is. You know, it goes back to this top comment. You can love a character, you can have an agenda, but when things don't work out your way, you just gotta laugh at it, man. You know, I am a big Garling fan, so seeing what happened to him at God Valley, does it pain my heart? Yes. But did I laugh with it and cope? Also, yes. And I think that's part of the fun. Again, hopefully Usopp gets more than just one panel next chapter. But the thing is that a lot of problems here in Elbaph are being wrapped up. Where the hell does he fit in, man? I don't know. Like, Killingham is being dealt with. We have Sommers who's done. Domir Versi is being dealt with. Loki's our friend. Like, the only place Usopp can realistically squeeze into now is the Emu fight. And I feel like Luffy, Loki, and Brook have that covered. So what is Usopp going to get? I have no idea. I think we are, because of this right here, I think we are in store for a big plot twist or shift in the next couple of chapters. A new problem is going to arise. I just feel it in my bones, brother. Imagine Killingham being the One Piece Uncle Ruckus. Yeah, he's getting close, dude. We just need a couple of more dialogue lines from him. He just has to be a little bit more belligerent. And then we got Uncle Ruckus. Everyone's gangsta until things start being spoken, dash named, dash sung in Latin. Hey, there's something about Latin, right? It has like a certain aura to it. I remember back in college, I had a skateboard that I custom made, and I remember inscribing Latin text into it, not because I knew Latin, but because it was aura. This says, I'm imagining if Sanji awakens, conquers Haki, and masters it, they'll be splitting skies with Zoro on a daily. Oh, that'd be fun. Yeah, no, yeah. Those fights that Zoro and Sanji have on the Thousand Sunny, like imagine the scale and the gravitas it would have if every time it happened, boom, sky split. I don't know, that's tough. Well, I would like this a lot, and I think it'd be hilarious. Would the fan base like it? I think that is a genuine question, because we have a lot of instances of sky splits that are generally reserved for legendary characters, like Roger and Whitebeard, Luffy and Kaido, like all these, you know, legends. Would people want Zoro and Sanji to do it just for a meme? Like I said, I would enjoy this, but would a majority of people as well? That is the real question. You know, I'm going to take a guess and say yes. I think a lot of people would love it, and that is simply based on what we talked about earlier in the video. The One Piece popularity poll. Zoro and Sanji across the board were number 2 and number 3. orders flip-flop, but they were always number 2 and number 3. I do think people will be okay with it. Even if it is for like a gag moment, I think a lot of people would just be happy that we are on that level. And hell, by the end of the story, I don't think anybody will be super mad if Sanji and Zoro were on the same tier as your Whitebeards and Kaidos and etc. I know it sounds crazy right now, but end of story Straw Hats, I think they're gonna be a different breed of monsters, man. I mean, dude, look at Rox's crew. They all went off on their own after the crew disbanded and made names for themselves. I think the Straw Hats will be the exact same way if they ever disband. Like, Luffy finds the One Piece, they go on a couple more adventures, boom, they split up, and now we have, like, the legendary chef of, I don't know, the world, Sanji. We have the swordsman of legend, Zoro. And yes, when they clash, sky splits, it makes sense. I am down. Latin for left is Sinistra. Is it really? That sounds like a super villain name. Sinistra. You best bet Oda is going for cool names for the Vega Franky upgraded moveset. I bet he is. Yeah, I bet he already has like a whole list of brand new attacks ready to go for Franky. And if he does use Sinistra, that would be for his bean attack. Where Franky uses beans left normally, it's now Beans Sinistra, which would be kind of interesting. Beans Sinistra, what a name. This says 1935 pause. Wait, what did I say there? Oh, is that the leaky Zoro? Yeah, COC. Yeah. Hey, it is canon, man. I didn't say it. It was Luffy and Gabon. Blame them. Blame them. Whenever Oda doesn't want a character to join the Straw Hat crew, he maims them. How often does that happen? We have Shanks, we have Kid, we have Nekomamushi and Inuarashi, and now we have Dory. Oh, sorry, not Dory. Brogy. Yeah, these giants, man, let me tell you. Get them all confused. They all look alike. Yeah, you could say that. Well, I don't know. Like, I feel like when it comes to Straw Hat candidates, or at least characters people generally talk about, the candidates that people talk about don't get maimed. Like, Bonnie was a candidate at one point in time. I think she still is a pretty viable one. If we want to bring on like a cabin boy dash cabin girl. Another one would be Carrot. She never got maimed. Yamato never got maimed. Brownbeard never got maimed. And I'm trying to think. I think there's like one more candidate who also didn't get maimed. So far, it's kind of just like side characters that get maimed instead. But yeah, as far as Dory and Brogy goes, I don't think there was a chance for them to really join the crew. I could see them joining the Grand Fleet. No, we don't need Dory and Brogy to join the Grand Fleet. I feel like they're going to be allies, but I feel like they're going to leave the real Grand Fleet nameage to Hiredin and his gang, right? Because they're the new Giant Warrior Pirates. Like, it would be odd, in my opinion, to have the new Giant Warrior Pirates and the old Giant Warrior Pirates under the same flag. It feels like a weird melding, right? Hiredin wants to be the next generation. It's hard to do that when you're working hand in hand with the old generation. This says, I'm just happy for the Franky upscale. Franky's the man. Plus, Lilith's line to Franky seems important. Consider his dark future is becoming a complete robot ship and losing himself. That is actually canon. Well, canon to an extent. There was an SBS of Franky's good and bad timelines. And in the bad timelines, yes, he becomes a robot ship and Gundam. And he does seemingly lose himself. So yes, this is already a thing. Lilith just told him his skills are already up to par. And the way for him to unlock his potential is to include his own passion as the power source. Franky, sweating, made it seem like he understood the gravity of that statement. Yeah, I'm excited, man. I do not think that this is the last Franky power-up. While Vega Cola is awesome, I would love it if Franky, again, like you said, turns his own passions into a cola source. Like, maybe he gets Sun God Nika powers, maybe he finds his own carbonation, so it's Franky Cola. I know this sounds crazy because Franky just got powered up, but I cannot wait until his next power-up, you know what I mean? And, if we do leave the ODCs here in Elbaph with Lilith, then maybe Franky has to find his own way to make an ODC, and it is more Franky specific. I am down for it. And I think I saw one comment down here talk about Haki. Like, I just want my boy to get some Haki. I agree. Franky not having Haki is low-key criminal. Like, the thing is, I'm not asking for Franky to be like a master of Ryuo. I'm not asking for Franky to get Conqueror's Haki in Future Sight. No, dude. I just want Franky, and I would say all the Straw Hats, to have the bare minimum. We saw Maureen fodder in Dressrosa with basic Haki. We know that all the vice admirals that the Straw Hats beat in Egghead, they have Haki. So I do think it is a bit insane that Franky, Brook, Robin, Nami, Chopper, Usopp do not have the basic Haki down. And the thing is that they're riding alongside Jinbei, who can go full black body Haki. You know, Sanji has great Haki, Zoro has great Haki, Luffy has great Haki. Like, they have so many mentors here if they wanted them. So it's like, dang, dude, like, maybe that's their final power-up. You know, aside from Franky getting his own ODCs or his own cola, or maybe even green blood still, maybe he just gets Haki at the end. Who knows, man, who knows? Not even the OG Coca-Cola formula with the cocaine. Hey, cocaine Franky? That'd be a scary matchup, man. I wouldn't want to fight this guy, let me tell you. Let me cook. Franky with the Super Cola power-up might be as strong as Jinbei now. The number 4 spot is really up for grabs at this point. I don't mind it. You know, obviously it's really hard to tell. I don't think Oda's ever going to give a straight out answer like, oh, who's stronger between Franky and Jinbei? But Franky being in contention with Jinbei and being involved in the same conversation, it does make me happy. Like, dude, look at this. That is how happy I am about it. And, you know, going back to the chapter, I mean, Franky, dude, he blew the head off of the Lindworm. That's impressive. Given how big the Lindworm is, it's crazy. Never thought Franky's next power-up would be Lilith introducing him to Hennessy. Okay. Yeah, hey, check out this brew, man. Look at that yeast. It's really eating it up. Franky has always been that guy, and put some respect on Usopp. Yes, Franky has always been that guy. Always loved Franky to an extent. As far as putting respect on Usopp, no thank you, man. Hey, more for you, brother. The thing is, like I said, I expect greatness from Usopp in this arc. I think he's going to pick up Ragnar. I think he's going to get a crazy upgrade as well. He's going to have a really nice, brave moment. But as far as me respecting Usopp, different levels, man. It's different levels. All the Straw Hats eating except Usopp. Not yet. See, again, I'm defending Usopp. He will eat eventually. Oda knows. Oda knows what he's doing with this one, man. I don't remember One Piece ever moving this fast in the past. It's so evident that Oda is trying to push through the saga. Jinbei teleporting to the water is one of those moments where I feel like Oda cut a corner to finish things on time. Yeah, I think it's also one of those things now too, with you know, Elbaph anime coming up around the corner. I think the anime is just simply gonna flesh out that scene. Like, while it looks a little bit wonky in the manga, like, oh, Jinbei's running, now he's in water, I think the anime is going to flesh it out and show Jinbei jumping in there, how he got there, etc., etc. I think we are going to start relying on the anime a lot, especially when it comes to fleshing out fights as well, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. If Oda wants to pick up the pace, I think that's understandable. Given how grand One Piece has become, yeah, you know, I bet Oda wants to finish it. Like, the thing is, Oda never thought that One Piece was going to last this long. And not just that, but it's been stated multiple times that Oda's like, yeah, you know, we're in the last 70% of One Piece. Yeah, you know, One Piece is going to be over in 6 years. We've passed both of those estimates. Every time Oda guesses on when One Piece will end, it's going beyond that. So him rushing up a little bit, I think makes sense. He probably wants to retire. And yeah, you know, we gotta just hope that the anime does, you know, start fleshing a lot of these scenes out, which I think they will. This says he got straight up skewered before being turned to. Yeah, Brogy. Yeah, Brogy got a lot of damage done to him before he got turned into a Domiverse giant. Kind of funny how Killingham so far has been the nicest God Knight. Nice and God Knight in the same sentence. I will agree. You know, I will say this. He was very nice to Ange, oddly enough, which again, hey, Ange agenda coming in. But yeah, he did like compliment her, like, hey, you did a good job burning down the school. You know, he didn't really attack her. He attacked the principal, right? He attacked Kiba, but he didn't treat Ange poorly. And he's already called Jinbei a slur. Curious to see if Sanji's kick will have changed Killingham's face. No. Okay. This cannot happen. This is the one theory I have read this year that I really do not want to happen. I love Killingham's face. Deep down, I am a little bit of an edgelord, and I gotta admit, I love Killingham's design. If Oda changes his face to look different, or like handsome Squidward, you're not gonna see a nice side that week. I'm gonna say that. Well, maybe you will. I'll probably laugh at it, but no, I don't want it to happen, man. It would be funny, but no, please. Please, no, please. So far, He's only used to making ugly characters pretty, but it might be interesting to have the reverse happen here. No. It'd be interesting, but I want cost, man. I want cost. I love how at the end of the chapter, they're talking about how it's going to feel weird to stop dash kill their friends, but the look on their faces is screaming, this is going to be fun. It's like going into a rage room. You know, I bet there's a lot of instances where Zoro, Hired, Stanson, Dory, and Brogy, there's a lot of instances where they probably wanted to kill their opponents or, you know, go for the killing blow, but they don't because of morality. But here it's a necessity. And just imagine, you know, come next chapter, since Dory, Brogy, Hired, and Stanson know these guys, imagine the banter. Like, oh, you owed me $20. I knew you cheated in that game. Time to get revenge. I think it's going to be super goofy. I'm looking forward to the killing montage from the gang. Usopp stocks are cooked. Jinbei is doing more at this point, which says a lot. Yeah, Jinbei only had 2 arcs with the Straw Hats, and man, let me tell you, box moving, water. Even in the color spreads, which, hilarious. I know, not canon, but in the color spreads as well, Jinbei's always in the water just swimming around. It's like, damn, dude, he's like the token fish guy. Bonnie, as Nakama reminds me of when young Shanks and Buggy were with Roger. At this point, she needs to be a Straw Hat. Yeah, that is the one reason why I really do enjoy Bonnie for Nakama, which I don't think is happening anymore. But back when it was still on the table, it was like, yeah, you know, she could be the apprentice on the Straw Hat ship. And it makes sense because, you know, Nika is her hero. I'm sure she'd love to travel with Luffy and the gang, especially when she knows now that Kuma pretty much gave up his life to save Luffy. I bet she wants to see the future that Luffy's going to create. But last we saw, Bonnie and Lilith went to go get their Elbaph residence permit. Of course, a lot has happened since they left to go get the permit, so maybe their minds will change by the end of the arc, but we'll see. You know, I do not mind Bonnie for Nakama. I actually think Bonnie is my favorite candidate right next to Yamato. Fishman Island was affiliated with the world government 200 years ago. If a Fishman did what Herald did and became a Holy Knight, then there would be a Fishman in the Holy Knights. So it makes sense that Killingham is at least half Fishman. And his ideology towards non-celestials would make sense since Herald's personality started to change when he became a Holy Knight. Thing is with Herald is that was against his will though, right? Imu gave him a command to subjugate Elbaph, and that's why Herald's personality changed. For Killingham, I don't think the same can be said for him. I think he's really being racist for the love of the game. Outside of that though, you know, this first part, I do agree. I think we will have to learn how and why Fishman Island became associated and started getting rights 200 years ago. I think we will get that flashback. And back during Egghead, they made a connection between that event and Emmett attacking the world government. That was spoken in the same breath. Like, oh, 200 years ago. That's odd. That is when Fishman got rights. So maybe there was a Fishman defender who came up to the Holy Land and helped defeat Emmett. I do not think that is a bad idea. Who will give us this flashback though? I have no clue. Personally, Agenda coming out here, I think Barbell or Sunbell might be the ones to drop that lore. Because they're Fishmen, and because I love Barbell. This says, Yasoku, promise, agreement. But with who? Perhaps with Ange. Oh, this is in reference to Killingham. Because Killingham says that Elbaph made a promise to destroy the school and forget their culture. I think this is a one-sided agreement. I think this is primarily one-sided, or maybe he's talking about Herald here. I think that is pretty decent as well. This says, the panel of Bonnie on Franky's head when he says, ha, is probably one of my favorite panels ever. It's so good to see them. It's been like a year since we've seen them. Is that true? It's been a year since we've seen Bonnie and Franky? Let me see. No way. Okay, I'm looking at it right now. It hasn't been a year, but it has been half a year, so I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. With that being said, though, guys, let me know your thoughts on this chapter again down below. In the next couple of days, we will be coming back with some poll videos, so make sure to check out the polls over on the side here on this channel, because, of course, we're here to get dirty with it. Whatever that means. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video all the way until the end. Again, I really freaking appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out and stay safe, brothers.